from here in the studio, we're going to hand you back to David in Glastonbury. And David, obviously I miss you, but you've wanted to be there for ages, haven't you?
Thank you, Alex. Wish you were here. Well, of course, it's the music that makes Glastonbury so special. Some of the top bands in the world queue up for an invitation from Michael Eavis to perform here. I've been taking a look at who's playing at Pilton.
Let's start with the headliners. On the Friday will be Gordon Brown's favourite. That's the Arctic Monkeys. The big name on Saturday night? Well, the Rolling Stones, of course. And to keep the farm rocking on Sunday will be Brit and Grammy Award-winning Mumford & Sons. They're confirmed despite cancelling dates on their US tour due to their bassist falling ill with a blood clot on his brain. He's recovering well. But if you only know one of those names, well, maybe here are some more you might recognise. 70s legends include disco divas chic, including Nile Rodgers. And country megastar Kenny Rogers, though sorry, not with Dolly Parton. Big 80s acts are Elvis Costello with the Imposters rather than his original band The Attractions. The Smiths guitarist Johnny Marr makes a solo appearance. The old school and original rap bad boys, Public Enemy. Gloomy Irish songstress Sinead O'Connor, seen here with hair. Yes, that's actually her. And back for another year, Glastonbury's stalwarts, Primal Scream, they formed way back in 1982. Also, you might know Katie Tunstall, and local West Country stars Portishead will cheer everyone. Now, if none of those names or faces ring any bells with you, there is one act that you will definitely recognise.
One more chance, all right.
It'll be nice to see him on stage. To see him, well, you'll need a ticket. All right, my love?
And if you're watching this, Brucey, then bring yourself a blanket. It's pretty cold here. I'm joined by Mike Everett from BBC Six Music. What do you make of the lineup?
It's a great lineup. It's a fantastic lineup. It's a very diverse lineup. That's the thing about Glastonbury. Other festivals stick to genres. Glastonbury, you have everybody, from the Rolling Stones to the Arctic Monkeys, established bands to brand new acts.
How cool is it to be here, given that there are lots of oldies like me around?
That's the cool thing about it. Once again, you know, you get people coming with their kids, you get people coming who've been coming to the festival for 50 years. Of course it's cool. It's not a corporate festival as well. It's not a corporate event. It makes about £2 million a year for charity, which means its heart's in the right place. And, I mean, just look at it. There's an eclecticism, I think, that you get at Glastonbury you don't get anywhere else. Of course it's cool.
The Rolling Stones are coming. How much of a coup is that?
It's a big deal. Michael Eavis has been after the Stones for about 20 years. And what's interesting is the Stones don't normally play festivals like this. They play their own gigs in an environment they can control on the stage when it's their environment, their gig. This isn't. They don't control Glastonbury. Glastonbury is its whole own kind of entity. So getting them to play a festival like this when they don't get paid very much money either. No one does at Glastonbury because the money goes to charity. So it's a really special thing to have the Stones at Glastonbury. And also, it's them playing in front of people who aren't just their dedicated fans.
Any particular favourites of yours here?
Oh, where do I start? There's just so many. Nick Cave's going to be amazing. I am looking forward to seeing Chic with Nile Rodgers. Is going to be brilliant. Arctic Monkeys, I love. Mumford, I think, could be a really emotional gig for them. But I you know, there's lots of great new acts. But part of me just wants to see Jagger. I want to see Mick Jagger on that stage, converting people and reminding people why the Stones are arguably the greatest rock band of all time.
What's interesting, just talking to some of the young people down there, is that they wanted to see Mick Jagger as well, even though I think he's 70 next month.
Yeah, well, it's music can be loved regardless of age, and I think Glastonbury reflects that. Other festivals are targeted to certain genres. It's rock, or it's a certain festival you might feel a bit out of place if you're too young or too old. Glastonbury doesn't matter. Glastonbury is about inclusivity. It's about spirit. It's about there's kids' fields, there's theatre, there's cinema, there's everything, not just music. Everyone is welcome here, and I think you can feel that. It's in the ley lines. You can feel it in the vibe.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, it's a nice vibe.
Yes, vibe is absolutely the word.
And we can hear a lot of it on the BBC.
Yes, we get loads of BBC on BBC 6 Music and Radio 2 and BBC Radio 1 and loads of stuff. bbc.co.uk/Glastonbury has got loads of information as well.
Thank you so much. Very nice to see you here on our little stand.
A pleasure. That's your tent, that one.
Yeah, that's right.
One.
Yes,
yeah,
I'll see you later. Thank you very much indeed. Well, everyone's, of course, talking about the weather. At lunchtime, it was lovely. People were sitting out and it was just gorgeous. And then it suddenly changed and became very, very muddy. Ian is back in Bristol on another roof. Ian, what sort of prospects are there?
Yes, the difference being, David, that you are probably the only person at the festival dressed in a moleskin sports jacket on a day like today, the archetypal fair weather festival goer, I would wager. A different story out here in the rain, and it will be a similar story right across the West Country at the moment. It's just the degrees of the amounts of rain that are falling as it stands, but there will be a steady improvement through the course of tomorrow as the early rain eases away towards the east, with Wimbledon in its sights, I fancy. And for us, we start to see a hint at least of things brightening up. There will be some further showery rain late tomorrow evening, but until that stage, a good part of the day will have been dry. Now, the rainfall radar will run for you twice here. Looks more like a map of the Mediterranean Sea. It tells its own story. The darker blues there being these moderately heavier pulses coming through, the greens some heavier still. So it's a bit of a mix and match, really. And the top end of all of that rainfall still somewhere up through parts of the Midlands, easing its way ever southwards. So it will take a while this evening for it finally to clear at least the worst of it out of the way. And then we're in for a night which will be humid, low cloud, hill fog, some drizzle. Then tomorrow it's a case of watching how things start to brighten up after any early rain clears away towards the east there. You'll notice that cold front coming down from the north later tomorrow into the evening. That will usher in some showery outbreaks of rain for a while, but the weekend after that looks dry. So for the rest of this evening then, well, there you go. It's a similar map to the radar, is it not? It's a sea of blue. Generally less in the way of heavier rain out in the west of Somerset, but as the night wears on, it's essentially trending towards some drizzle or indeed dry weather, but with a lot of clouds, some hill fog, quite claggy conditions, quite humid as well. Still some showery rain, or at least some light rain about by the rush hour tomorrow morning. Temperature's pretty mild, though. I think for many of you will be sitting into low double figures. And so tomorrow, then, the first part of the day still prone to maybe some moderately heavy outbreaks of rain for a while, particularly parts of Gloucestershire. That all eases away towards the east as the morning wears on, and then it's a case of sitting and waiting to see how much it will brighten up. I fancy actually some parts of Somerset, maybe including Pilton, will brighten up quite nicely into the afternoon, but the cloud then increasing again anyway through the course of the later evening to bring in those showery outbreaks of rain you can see there. Temperatures tomorrow, certainly in the sunnier spots, could well reach somewhere between 19 to 21 Celsius. The pollen count will once again be very high. Here's how things look then as we go into the weekend. I think the note of caution over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, is how much cloud we'll see. It's difficult to emphasise this in just one graphic for a whole region. But on Sunday, if it brightens up, particularly in the east, we could see temperatures into the mid-20s, including if you're off to Wimbledon or indeed, for that matter, up to Silverstone for the Grand Prix there. That's it from me.
Ian, thank you very much indeed. It's freezing here, to be honest. Let's just have a look out the window again. As you can see, a pretty grim scene, I have to say, over this particular part of Somerset. The rain's still falling, but as we said earlier, a really very friendly feel, and he joked about me staying here. I would be happy to, actually. Sadly, though, I have to return to work tomorrow. I'll see you on the programme then. For now, thank you very much indeed for watching. From all of us here, bye-bye.